Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with some more DayZ, and it has indeed been a while since I've been able to provide you with some content for this title. Admittedly, it's just difficult keeping a group of 4 together. We were joined, of course, by Bombadil, Elbrook, and Souffle, and I think having to deal with a variety of schedules and even maybe interests posed a problem when creating content. I think that for all of us, in some ways, we become bored of the game. It wears on you, you know, trying to survive realistically. It's not for everyone. Perhaps, you know, some of the guys would have preferred that we'd hit the airfield and get into some trouble or something, you know, get into a few more firefights. I think I tend to play this game as if it were real. You know, how would I behave? What would I do? And you know, realistically speaking, I think that, you know, if this was legit, it would just be about defending yourself, getting enough weapons and ammo, and then staying alive with food and water, and then finding shelter. But I would probably avoid the general population. I think that if this was real, I probably wouldn't go to the airfield unless I absolutely had to, you know? It just makes sense to me, and that's kind of how I play the game. I'm really logical about it. But, you know, it is a video game, and I think at the end of the day, when it comes down to wanting to watch a video about it, you're probably gonna go somewhere else and watch somebody do something silly or fight somebody. But then, to me, is that really DayZ? Is that what Rocket had envisioned? Is that what this game is supposed to be? You know, the zombies are still not really a threat. They seem to have sped them up a bit more. They seem to be a bit more jumpy. I find that in some situations they're a little bit more buggy. I don't know, they're kind of going back to their old ways, clipping through things still. I know it's still alpha, so I'm not going to comment too much on it, but how long can it be considered alpha before it just gets old and some other game comes out? Obviously, I'm sure many of you are aware that Sony Online Entertainment is working on their game. I believe it's called H1Z1 or Z1, depending on where you hail from. And the thing is, they have a lot of money to throw at it. They have a very, very capable game engine. They're going to be using the PlanetSide 2 engine, which is capable of supporting thousands of players online, enormous maps, potentially a DayZ killer, really. And I know a lot of people say that about different MMOs, like, oh, this is the WoW killer, things like that, for other fantasy MMOs and whatnot. But you know, this could seriously... I mean, the thing is... I mean, in regards to what DayZ is, the idea, it's just... It's not that hard to replicate this. Oops, I didn't want to do that. See, it's bugs like this that really get to me. It's not that hard to replicate... DayZ, because there's not much here in the first place. I mean, is there a big world? Okay, this map existed in Arma 2. Alright, there's been some changes. You throw in some zombies, you throw in some loot, you throw in the hardcore realism that was mostly already there in Arma. I mean, there really isn't much here. Now, it's a great accomplishment for an individual, but now that there's a team behind it, now that it's made a lot of money, you know, why isn't it progressing even more? Oh, we added some more fruit, we added some more weapons, we added this mechanic, this happens when it rains, or blah blah blah. I mean, but okay, what else? You fix some glitches here and there. Obviously the weapons don't blink out anymore. Looks like they fixed that. But I think that if a larger company stepped up and just really tried to replicate this, then it wouldn't be hard to be better. And especially if you took a game like PlanetSide, if you had that feel, like the gunplay, the handling of the weapons, and and just the general mechanics, the user interface, all that, it's easier to use. It's just more intuitive. And I think that if they take that feeling and put a more realistic spin on it, do the whole zombie survival horror scenario, then it could be a winner. It's, you know, it's what we wanted in Infestation zombie. What was it? Freaking War Z, whatever that was that flopped. You know, we were hoping that that would be something that would take DayZ's idea and scale it. Except it just ended up being a horrible attempt at you know, jumping into this market or genre. Sony, I don't know. We'll see what they do. Obviously, I think a lot of people are still bitter about the whole Star Wars Galaxies fiasco, so it might not be something that people want to really get into. But I think just inherently most DayZ people will probably try it, especially considering that it's going to be a free-to-play. What do you have to lose except for time, you know? They've stated that they don't want it to be pay-to-win. They're not going to sell you on food and guns and ammo and stuff like that. That it's mostly going to be about cosmetic items, if anything. But, you know, so that's the thing. And you know, kind of getting away from that H1Z1 game, I think my feeling is that can DayZ survive if competition is growing, and there really isn't that much progress here? You know, how much longer can this title last? Will there always just be loyalists that keep it alive? Do the zombies even matter to a lot of people? It seems like they don't. I mean, to me, it's been one of those things where I felt like the undead, the zombies, the infected, whatever you want to call them, it felt like the focus should have been on them, but it never was. But it feels like it never was because of the engine's capabilities. Like, the engine couldn't handle more players. It can't handle all the AI zombies. It can't handle herds. And if you've ever seen a modded DayZ server, at least for Arma 2, you know that it's really, really glitchy, buggy, horrible latency. There's a lot of problems. And a lot of the servers are, of course, just hosted on, you know, what I like to call closet boxes, meaning somebody's home server. And I feel like that while the engine is impressive, and Arma 3 being even more impressive, I feel like there's a lot that it can't do. Sure, it can generate all this terrain. You can play with 120 plus people. Well, if you're lucky. Most servers don't even want to run that. I remember Arma 2 servers used to be able to do that, but you could do it, but it never really worked properly. You know, it was always glitchy and problematic, and if the server wasn't there to support that type of gameplay, then you're out of luck. I mean, the servers, if you try to get an Arma server off of something like GameServers.com or Hypernia, you're paying through the nose. Arma 2 servers are still over $2 a slot, I believe. Maybe even $2.50 or $2.75 a slot for a good server. We're talking a good server, a reliable server with a great connection and hardware to boot. You know, we're not just talking about some cheap, flimsy server that's going to crap out on you in 5 minutes. And that's the key, is getting a good server, because most of the time you jump on the one and you're disconnected in the first 5 minutes of playing. So, you know, these servers are like $2.75 a pop, $2.50, maybe $2 flat if you're lucky. And there's not much there. You're like, okay, so I'm paying for a map, basically, you know, because you can play a next-gen game. You can rent a Battlefield server for either the same or less, you know, $1.50 a slot, depending on whether it's public or private or whatever, you know. You know, so really, it's one of those things where, what am I getting for my money if I'm hosting a DayZ server or an Arma server? Is it just that the engine is great in some areas, but falls short in the sections that should be considered important. I don't know. I mean, how do you guys feel about that? You know, let it roll in the comments below. It's one of those things where, are we just waiting for a competent developer to steal this idea? Can Sony Online Entertainment do it? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Because I'll tell you right now, all they have to do is release a game that's not glitchy, that has great player support, and a zombie threat. An actual zombie threat with a smooth gun handling FPS experience, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I think that's all I've always been looking for. Just a really nice, intuitive, aesthetically pleasing UI. Something that just makes sense when I go in. You know, I want gun handling to work properly. I want it to be smooth. I've always wanted something like Battlefield, but with extreme realism and zombies and larger maps. You know, something that just feels good. You know, when you're handling your weapon in a game like Battlefield, it just feels right. It's just very smooth. The usage just feels good. And Arma 3 got a lot better with the gun handling than Arma 2 ever was. Arma 2 is such a clunky, convoluted piece of junk when it comes to actual handling of a weapon. You almost feel like you're not in control of your body in that game sometimes. And you know, this is what they consider Arma 2.5, and I don't feel that it's much better. It's a little better, but it's not great. It's definitely better than the mod, but it's not fantastic. So, I don't know. It's just, I guess I'm expecting more in 2014, and especially when you consider how many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars they made off of selling extra copies of Arma 2 for the DayZ mod, and maybe even more money on top of that with DayZ Standalone. I guess I just expect more. I expect Bohemia to dump more money into the development of this title. I feel like the DayZ team is just small and they're not able to do as much as they want to do. But it's like, Bohemia, hey, you made all this extra money. I know you're dumping it into Arma 3 development, but what else are you doing with that game? Because right now, it just seems like Arma 3 is nothing but a mod platform. You jump on to a server, you're either playing Wasteland or Arma Life or something like that. You're not even really playing the base game anymore. I think Bohemia knows that they make their money by making a moddable game. And that's fine, because not a lot of developers support modding anymore. So I love Bohemia for being supportive of the modding community. But what else? Where's the base game? Where's the core game? Why can't I just jump into a game and play team versus team? Why can't I have that Battlefield type of objective gameplay without having to use a mod? Why do I have to install a mod to play something so simple? So, I don't know. I guess it's just one of those things where... Oh, get away from me. Oh, I missed, apparently. And here you are as well. Anybody else? These guys just come out of nowhere, unless they were following me the whole time. Am I injured at all? I don't think so. Things appear to be a little blurrier, though, now. But again, you can do this. You can go to video and see how now everything's sharpened up. Oh, crap! No! The zombie's like, stop cheating. Now they're just coming out of nowhere. I'm still not bleeding? Oh, back in the day, I'd be bleeding after those hits. See how now things are blurry? Again, once you take those hits, and then you can just do this. Go to video, and now it's crisp again. Is that like... Obviously something's broken there. It's kind of weird, huh? Do you have any food? It's the last time I ate something. So, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm energized. I'm hydrated. I guess I just expect more. But, you know, with Rocket saying that he's bailing in a year, Oh, that's even less now. Is he still bailing? By the way, is he still leaving? Was that a joke? Was that an early April Fool's thing? Or is he still leaving Bohemia and going back to New Zealand? I think he's from New Zealand. You know, I don't know if that's a thing still or what's going on with that. I don't know, man. I mean, you didn't tell us that. It's just, I don't know. You're the brains behind the operation. I know you can say, hey, I'm leaving it in good hands. Everybody knows what to do, but it just feels a bit weird. It's a bit strange, I guess. But I don't know what else he can do with it anyway. I think that whatever he could have done with it, somebody else can easily do with it. I don't think they really need him around to do anything, so I guess it doesn't matter. But you know, it's just strange, I suppose. He'll just go on to make some other mod and it'll become popular, and that'll be that. It'll be another sensation or trend, I suppose. But, you know, yeah, there's that. I'll keep tabs on Sony's project. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe these games just all get inherently dull. I think that if the zombie threat is more prominent, then I can have more fun with it. I just, you know, I want to really like this game, but it's hard because, yeah, I was able to pop some zombies here and there, but it's like, it doesn't scare me. I want to be scared. I want that. You guys ever play Resident Evil, like the originals, the ones that were really, really, really scary? Those games, you had limited ammo, you're creeping through this haunted house, and you almost say, oh, like, oh man, you better not miss. You better not miss because you have like 5 bullets, you know. And these monsters would jump scare you, and you just felt frightened. You survival horror. I think those games invented that name, and I want to feel that in this. I want to be frightened, not by the players killing me and torturing me. You know, I want to be frightened by the undead. You know, that's, I guess, kind of what I want out of this game. Some people don't want that. Some people just want the player versus player atmosphere. But then, I guess you could just play Wasteland. Or go play Rust. I mean, Rust, they got rid of the zombies. Wow, it got really dark. It's kind of creepy looking, though. I know you can turn off the clouds, I think, make it brighter. Which is kind of stupid. I think, can you still do that? I'm just going to experiment real quick. But Rust started with zombies. And, where is it? Clouds. So yeah, you can do that and it almost changes everything. It's kind of weird. Oh yeah, look how much darker doing that. That's, I don't know. But see, and there's stuff like that too that kind of bug me. Oh, we might be desyncing. I think that you can turn things off, that you can have an advantage, and I mean, see, here's another, no message received. So we're basically done here. Once you get that message, it's pretty much over. But I think that's how I'll end it. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, thank you so very much for joining me, as usual. And, you know, we'll continue to keep tabs on this and any other survival horror type game that's out there. I really like this genre. I really do. But I haven't seen it done right yet. You know, it's almost like MMOs existed for many, many years, right? And then Blizzard came along and gave us WoW. And then they took from other games and made a brilliant title that in some cases still has many issues, but it's like we need that big developer to come in and say, okay, you gave us the idea, but here's how to do it right. Can it be Sony? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And with that said, I'll definitely see you on the next one.